Because this is the time of year when people are reevaluating their careers, and unfortunately, many employees are also going through layoffs at their companies. So how do you make sure you don't get caught on the back foot during these layoffs? Well, we have executive coach and founding partner of Coach Select, Kate O'Sullivan, is here to help us navigate the change. It's very unsettling, Kate, when this is going on in your workplace.
Yeah, it's really unsettling, and I actually think even just the fear of layoffs before they happen can be unsettling, right? Even if you haven't actually lost your job, it's just kind of looming over you, and it can be really stressful.
The uncertainty can almost be worse than just knowing,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Is it happening a lot right now? Is January peak time, or is it just kind of the culture of companies right now?
I think it's been happening a lot over the last few years, but certainly seeing a wave right now really across a lot of different industries. You know, I think in the past it's been more isolated to an industry, and now it's just happening all across the board, which, like we said, is just creating a lot of uncertainty.
Yes, which brings a lot of fear.
Yes,
the uncertainty does. How can we make sure that, I don't know, you probably can't, they're going to lay you off, but how do you get ready for that, I suppose?
Well, I think the worst part is actually the worrying about being laid off.
Okay, yes.
So actually the three
manage
steps,
that?
Right, right. The first thing is just to recognize that, you know, doing something about it is going to make you feel better, right? Just sitting there and worrying about it when it's out of your control is not going to help. So our three-step process I like to think of, we've probably all heard of ROI. So this is a little bit of a different kind of ROI.
Okay.
So the first step of ROI is going to be research, which is understand what is the job market, what is the landscape, right? Who is hiring, who's not hiring, where might my skills be in demand, really understand what's going on out there. And then the second is organize. So I hear all the time from people, oh, I got laid off and I know I should have done my resume, but everybody hates writing their resume. So then you're on the back foot, right? Then you've already been laid off and you have to start getting all of your stuff organized. So organize ahead of time. Better to have it all together even if you don't need to use it.
Okay.
And then the last step is to initiate. Right? We all know that our networks can be such a great tool for finding a new job, and a lot of jobs aren't even posted, right? You have to find them through networking. So if you initiate now, before you know you need to make a move, it's much easier to cultivate that relationship as opposed to going out to someone after you've been laid off that you haven't talked to in 5 years and saying, hey, can you help me?
Right.
So initiate those conversations now.
Start it. And that would also probably help you feel a little bit more in control.
Absolutely.
When so many things are out of your control. What if you're part of the crew that didn't get laid off, but you're still at your job? Now maybe you have more work to do. Any advice for that group of people?
I mean, I think the first step is just to acknowledge that that's a really tough situation, right? You've probably lost coworkers who were your friends. You're probably still feeling the uncertainty. Are they going to do another round of layoffs, right? There's a lot that comes with that. And then you brought this up, but then you often have to absorb extra work. So I would say focus on short term, right? You don't know what the long term is going to look like. That can be really stressful. Start to think in shorter. What do I need to get done in the next 6 weeks? You know, how can I start to rebalance my workload over the next 6 weeks? What can I do over 3 months? And how can you start to really publicize what you're contributing? So being very vocal about, I'm going to do this in the next 6 weeks. I did this, right? And look at all these great things I did. So you can start to rack up some accomplishments, both to feel good and also to show your value.
So it's not the time to be quiet.
Not the time to be quiet.
Hiding in your office. Like, maybe if they don't see me, they won't pick me for the layoffs.
That's right, right. It's the time to be a little bit more of a bragger than you're probably comfortable with.
Okay. For managers who are maybe trying to navigate this too, and now you have employees who are really just not sure and they're feeling that uncertainty, any tips for them?
Well, I think, again, the first step is to acknowledge the feelings, right? A lot of times we think, oh, I'm a professional, I'm at work, so I'm not allowed to have feelings about this. So when I've gone through this in the past, I've had great leaders who said, let's all take a moment and just say this is really tough, right? We lost some friends, we lost some colleagues, this is unsettling. Let's acknowledge that. And then let's think about how we're going to move forward. So actually choose it to say, what are some things that we could redesign? How can we make our team more efficient? Do we need to reprioritize? And just be real and authentic, but also very practical with your team. And also just, you know, let them know that they're valued and acknowledged so that you can retain the people who are still there and make sure that they're engaged.
Help them feel safe, I saw was one of your tips. You coach people through this. Why do people need a coach while they're trying to find their next move in their career?
Listen, I kind of think that everybody needs a coach. I mean, if you think about elite athletes or elite executives, they all have coaches. Like, they're good at what they do. It doesn't mean that you're not good at it, but everybody could be better with a coach, especially at these inflection points or trickier points where, yes, I'm sure you could muddle through it on your own, but it might take longer, it might be more stressful. So just at these targeted moments, like a transition or a new promotion, where you could use some extra support to make it a lot more effective.
Okay, this was scary, but thank you. To think about, you can work with Kate and learn more by going to CoachSelect.com. We appreciate you today.
Thank you.